Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranaschakshushrotramatho Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuriyam Mama Brahma Nirakarod. Anirakarnamastu anirakarnam me astu tadatmani nirade yaupanishatsu dharmaste mai santu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Ityet Daksharam Udgitam Upasita. Om iti Hyudgayate Tasyopavyakyanam. Satha tatra nadahyeda aitadatmavidam sarvam tat satyam sa atma tatvamsi shvetaketo iti tadhasya vijajñāviti tad vijajñāviti. प्राक्चेतस्माद् विज्ञानात् हम एवं करिष्यामि अग्निहोत्रादीनि कर्माणि. प्राक्च एवं विज्ञानात् एतद् विज्ञानात् एतस्माद् विज्ञानात्. Before this knowledge, कर्तृत्व भोक्तृतयोः अधिकृतत्व विज्ञान निवृत्ते प्राक्. So before these notions that I am a karta, I am a bhokta, before these notions were dispelled in the wake of the knowledge. So before then, he entertained these notions or complex about himself. Aham evam karishyami agnihotrādini karmāni. Thus, I will perform agnihotra and other rituals. Atraham adhikritah. I am qualified or competent in performing these rituals. So kartritvam isham rikarvanam phalamyaha amutrate bhokshe. And I will experience the the fruits of these rituals or actions here and hereafter. So kartrutva, bhoktrutva, these conclusions about oneself are expressed in this kind of thinking, this kind of sankalpas. Kruteshu va karmasu krutakartavyasya. I'll be relieved, I'll be satisfied when I would have done my duty which is enjoined upon me. Id evam kartrutva bhoktrutva adhikratosmiti. In this manner, I am an adhikari. I am fit for kartrutva, meaning that I am a karta, I am a bhokta. Iti atmani yad vijnanam abhut. So this knowledge or these notions or these delusions one had about oneself tat tasya yad sat jagato moolam ekameva advityam tattvamasi anena vakyana pratibuddhasya nivardate. Naturally, these notions, all of them get dispelled in wake of this knowledge that I am Sat, ekameva advityam, one without a second. Ni ekasmin virodhat, ni ekasmin advitya atmani, ahmasmiti vijnave. When the Atma, the Self, is known thus, ekasmin advitya atmani, I am the one non-dual Self. Iti vijnate. So when one knows oneself as non-dual, and everything is non-dual, advitiyatvam, non-duality as a reality, then no idam anyat anena kartavyam, that I will perform this ritual through this means. Idam krutva, that means I am karta. Idam krutva asya phalam bhokshe. Doing this, I will then experience the fruits of that action. Bhoktarutva. Iti va bheda vijnanam nahi upapadyate. It is not tenable that I also simultaneously think that I am abhokta, akarta, and bhokta and karta. They cannot stay together. Because the knowledge of non-duality dispels the notion or the delusion of duality. Therefore, both of them cannot stay together. The darkness cannot continue when the light comes. Tasmat sat satya vidyatma vijnane vikara anurjivatma vijnanam nivarvati yuktam. Therefore, it is quite proper that when this knowledge Satya, Advitya, Atma Vijnane, knowledge about the self, that I am Sat, very existence, Satyam, I am the truth, Advityam, Advitya, I am non-dual. So when that knowledge or perception or vision takes place about one's own self, then all the notions or complex or delusions that are born of about oneself, vikara, anuruddha, jivatma vijnanam, that I am a vikari, and anuruddha, jivatma vijnanam, mithya, the jivatma vijnanam, the notion that I am jiva, which is mithya jnanam, all of that is dispelled. So this is the vakya pramanena janitam phalam. What is the phalam? What's the result of this teaching that you are Brahman Tattvamasi? Is the dispelling of all the notions or complexes or delusions one entertained about oneself on account of ignorance, on account of not knowing this difference between or the distinction between the self and the non-self. So that's all that goes. So here the pramana pravrutti, what the pramana, the means of knowledge, of Shabda does is, it removes the veil of ignorance or the complexes born of ignorance. And Atma or Brahman, which is self-evident, is shining anyway. All that is to be removed is the misconception about oneself. I am always the object of my knowledge. I always know myself. Except that I also know the non-self. So self and non-self are all lumped together from Viveka. When non-self is recognized as non-self, I recognize myself as so Sat, Satyam, Advitiyam. So that's all that is needed. In short, what is needed is dispelling of the complexes or the notions born of ignorance, which brings about superimposition. That's all that is needed. Then, idanim purvapaksham ashankate tatvasiddhavakyam mukhyetva paramedi svapaksham uktva parapaksham shankate niyoganishtatvam. That this vakya tattvamasi, it is niyoganishtam, it is not the advaitanishtam. It does not reveal the identity of Tat and Tvam in a primary sense, but it is enjoining you to meditate Tvam, meaning you, as Tat, as Brahman. So that's the Paksha. Because in Upasana meditation also, the Samadhikaranyam, both the words are placed in the same case so that it is applicable, that happens even in case of Upasana also. So somebody says, this is meant for Upasana. Nanu tattvamasti tatra tvam sabdavachyarthe sadbuddhi adhitsyate. So you have to imagine, you supply the adhitsyate is superimposed. So you have to supply tattvamasi iti upasita. May you meditate upon yourself as Tat or Brahman. Sometimes it is done. When the Samadhikaranyam is doesn't make sense. Pratyakshadi siddha bheda virodhat. The statement of non-duality that you are Brahman contradicts your experience that I am Jiva different from Brahman. And therefore, we cannot take that statement in a primary sense that this reveals the identity, because that is contrary to our experience that I am different from Brahma. So then you have to interpret that statement in keeping with your own experience. So my experience is of duality, that I am different from Brahman. This statement says you are Brahman. Therefore, proper interpretation is that may you look upon yourself as Brahman, you entertain the attitude, bhavana that you are Brahman, meditate upon yourself as Brahman. In any case also, Vedavakyasya Karinasthyatvene pramana pramanya. Vedavakya is not pramana that it just reveals what is. It's called Arthavada. Arthavada means what? Reiterating what is already known through other means of knowledge. And so, if this is a statement of truth that I am Brahman, I don't need Veda to tell me that. And yadi sadeva svediketu syat katham atmanam na vijaniyat. If Svediketu indeed is Brahman, is self existence, then Atma is self-shining. He will have known himself that way. Why would Svediketu have not known himself as Sat or existence of Brahman? When he is Brahman, why should he not? Why do you need to tell him that you are Brahman? Because he already is Brahman. So Mimamsakas cannot comprehend this. For them, a statement expressing what is not a pramanam. That you have two lungs and you have one heart. So, that is only Arthavada, because you already know it through other means of knowledge. And so I already know through the means of knowledge that I am not Brahman. So Vedanta says that you are Brahman, a statement of fact. He says that statement of fact is Arthavada. It is not Pramanam. Only statement that they accept as Pramanam is that which enjoins you directly or indirectly into activity. This one does not enjoin any activity because you are a human being. So what activity is required? Meaning that when a statement simply reveals what is no activity involved. And therefore, Sadbuddhi Adhisyate Tvam Arshabdavachya Tvam Shabdavachya, that I am Jivatma. Upon Jivatma, this buddhi or the attitude that I am Sat is to be superimposed. Yatha Aditya Manadishu Brahmadi Buddhi. Aditya Brahma iti upasita, Mano Brahma iti upasita. Yatha Chaloke, so that's a Vedic example. How Aditya and Brahma or Manaha and Brahma are in Samadhikaranyam. So just because two words are in Samadhikaranyam placed in the same case does not mean that they reveal identity. They can reveal other aspects also. The upasana. Yathachaloke pratimadishu vishnadi buddhi. Or in our puja etc. we are also superimposed the idea of Vishnu upon a pratima, upon shaligrama etc. Tadvat. So this statement Tattvamasi should be similar to that. Natu Sadevattvamiti. That this statement is not meant to convey that you are Sat, identity in you and Sat, meaning that the Samadhikaranyam is not in the sense of non-duality or Aikyam, identity. It is only in the sense of the bhavana, the attitude of oneness, and does not reveal the oneness in the primary sense. So on page 289, continuing, says Anandagiri in the 18th line, Kim adhyasvakya samanyat adhyasikam egatvam samadhikaranya alambanam Kim va mukhya ekatve, you have to correct that, mukhya ekatve bhadaka sadbhadini vikalpya. So we ask him, why do you say that this statement Tattvamasi does not reveal the identity in primary sense? Why should Tat not be Tvam? Meaning, why should not this statement do that? There are two reasons. One, Kim adhyasavakya samanyat. Is it because this statement is similar to the adhyasavakya? What is adhyasavakya? Aditya brahmeti upasita. May you look upon Aditya, the sun, as Brahman. Everybody knows sun is not Brahman. So very clear that the text is asking us to look upon sun as Brahman, to superimpose the idea of Brahman upon sun. Yes, adhyasa vakya, where adhyasa superimposition is clearly involved. So in that vakya also there is samadhikaranya between Aditya and Brahman. Here also there is samadhikaranya between Tat and Tvam. So therefore you think that this vakya also is adhyasa vakya, where the idea of Tat is to be superimposed upon Tvam. Is there a reason why you are saying what you are saying? Kim va mukhya ekatve bhada sadbhavaditi. Or because literally, grammatically, this vakya reveals the identity in a primary sense. But sometimes we cannot accept the literal meaning if it contradicts what is already known through other means of knowledge. So is it that you know Jiva as not Brahman through other means of knowledge? Is there a badhaka? Is there something that comes in the way or obstructs this knowledge that I am Brahman? Is there some badhaka, something that denies the interpretation that Tat and Tvam are identical in primary sense? Is there a badhaka, sadhaka and badhaka? Sadhaka which facilitates, badhaka which contradicts, which obstructs. So is there some factor which obstructs the interpretation that Tat and Tvam are identical? Is that why you are saying? So there are two reasons why you are saying that Tattvamasi does not reveal identity in a primary sense. Either because this statement Tattvamasi is similar to the statement Adityo Brahmedi Upasita, where Aditya and Brahma both are placed in Samadhikaranyam. Here also Tat and Tvam are placed in Samadhi. Is that why? Because similar to the two statements, you think that this does not reveal identity? Or because then this reveals identity, but you cannot interpret it that way because there is a badhaka, there is something that obstructs the interpretation in that manner. So both these vikalpas are adyam dushayati. That you cannot say this statement does not reveal the identity just because there is samadhikaranyam similar to the upasana. So Bhashyakara says, na adityade vakyave lakshanyat. So here the Abhinava Narayananandendra Saraswati says in the 30th line, Pratyakshadina vachyarthe bheda pratito api. So this person's argument is that, look, it is our experience that I am not Brahman. So if a statement contradicts already an established fact, that ice is cold is an established fact. Even if Veda says ice is hot, then we have to interpret the statement suitably. Similarly, it is an established fact that everybody knows that I am not Ishvara. You don't require a teacher to tell you that you are not Ishvara. You know it, even a barber knows it, as Swami ever said. Murari knows it. So, pratyakshadina vachyarthe bheda pratitovapi. So therefore, vachyartha of Tvam and vachyartha of Tat. Vachyartha means the literal meaning, or the meaning that is commonly accepted, commonly known. So when you say Tvam, you, what immediately strikes us is ahankara, jiva, I am so and so. That is who is being told. When you Tat, Brahma, Sarvajnam, Sarvashakti, omniscient, omnipotent, this is what Vachyartha, the well-known meaning of Brahman or Ishvara is. So Vachyarthe Bheda Pratidavapi, you are right. That I cannot be Brahman. If you take the Vachyartha of I, which is Ahankara or Jiva, and Vachya of Brahman, which is Sarvajnam, Sarvashaktiman, Jagat Karanam, the two cannot be identical. Lakshya Tat Abhavad. We are not saying that Tat and Tvam are identical at the level of Vachyartha, they are identical at the level of Lakshyartha. By implication, implied meaning. So how do you arrive at the implied meaning? By bhaga tyaga lakshana. by dropping the contradictory aspects between the two. The jiva is a limited being. The sense of limitation, the sense of separatedness, Alpagnya, Alpashaktiman, Alpavyapi, I am limited in knowledge, limited in power, limited in pervasiveness, etc. So that contradicts with Brahman, which is Sarvajnam, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent. So let go this contradictory. It is not that Tat and Tvam are opposed to each other in every sense. If Tat and Tvam were opposed to each other in every sense, then of course there cannot be the identity between them. But they are opposed in some sense, but not opposed in other sense. So on the stage, he is a king and he is a beggar. So the king is king and the beggar is beggar. Therefore, as far as literal meaning is concerned, there cannot be identity between them. But the king and beggar are not opposed to each other in all sense, because kinginess also belongs to the costume. The beggarliness also belongs to the costume. So kingliness and beggarliness, both of them are incidental, not the inherent characteristic of this person. What is incidental? That which comes and goes, which is now and not then, which is superimposed, which is mithya. So when you see an actor, when you see a king on the stage, yes, king cannot be beggar, therefore there cannot be one identity between two, but what you think is king is a combination of satyam and mithya. Satya nrute mithuni kritya. Satya and mithya, both of them are lumped together. Similarly, what you think is beggar also is a lumping union of satya and mithya. The whole is not satyam, whole is not mithya. The whole king is not real, the whole king is not unreal also. There is a part in that king that is unreal, there is a part in that king which is real. That's a very unique thing, which normally does not happen. Normally things appear what they are, and so they are contradictory, they can't be together, same. But here, what appears is not what it really is. You are in fact lumping together satya and mithya, the inherent and incidental. The actor and the costume are lumped together, the self and non-self are lumped together. So alpajñatvam, limited knowledge, limited power, all limitations all belong to the costume. Similarly, omniscience, omnipotent, omnipresence, these also belong to the costume. Costume is incidental, it is superimposed, therefore it is possible to negate that. What can you negate? You can only negate that which is not inherent. You can negate only what is incidental. Inherent cannot be negated. Therefore negating what is incidental in both of them. So bhagatyaga, the giving up of a part and not the whole. So when you do that, when you understand the reality of one who appears as king and the reality of one who appears as beggar, then you find that both of them are really nothing but the actor. So also the one who appears as jiva, sayaschayam purushe yascha savaditye sayekaha. One who appears as jiva, in that's a combination or the union of the satya and mithya, that consciousness, the nirvishesha, the attributeless, formless, changeless, consciousness plus the attributes. However, the attributes of limited knowledge, limited power, limited pervasiveness, limitations, in fact, these limitations do not enjoy the same degree of reality as the self or consciousness. Just as in case of that king appearing on the stage, the kingliness and the actor do not enjoy the same degree of reality, or the beggarliness and the actor do not enjoy the same degree of reality. Here similarly also, the jivatvam, the jivaness, the limitedness and the consciousness do not enjoy the same degree of reality. Otherwise you can't separate them. The asti, bhati, priyam, all of them are, you can't separate them because they are one. But as far as nama rupa is concerned, name and form is concerned, you can separate because they are not one with asti, bhati, priyam. Nama rupa is superimposed, mithya, anutam, vikare. Therefore, upeksha nama rupa, then upeksha is possible. Upeksha means letting go is possible. Overlook that. Don't give it importance. It's not real. That upeksha is possible. Similarly, in case of Brahman also, overlook omniscience, omnipresence, omnipotent. That's a tough job. It's a very emotional thing. How can you do that? He is Ananda Kalyana Guna Ganayika Nilaya. He is the locus of all the greatest virtues. You mean he is mithya? What are you talking? The Ishvara is omniscient, omnipotent, and he is Anugraha Swarupa. He is all mithya. So this is where the problem comes. And so, therefore, that cannot be done. So they stop there. Vedanta says that by dropping or letting go even these virtues, you are not blasphemizing, this is blasphemy. No, it's not. We are saying that he is greater than these virtues. The virtues are great not because of virtues, because of him. The ornaments do not impart beauty to Sita, she imparts beauty to ornaments. So also these virtues are great because of where they are, whatever the locus. So the locus is even greater than the virtues. So you are missing something when you hold on to this. That's what Vedanta says. When you hold on to greatness, greatness we cannot give up. So when you hold on to that aupadhika greatness, greatness is there. Brahman herself is great. Mahanta vimatmanam, Mahan, Vibhu, Ano, Aniyan, Mahato, Mahiyan. A different kind of greatness though. It is subtler than the subtlest, greater than the greatest, is a different kind of greatness. Then he is omniscient, omnipotent, etc. Greatness is not given up, but different kind of greatness. And so, reluctance to let go of that. Harina janato muktina mage janamo janam avatar. Nida seva, nida kirtana, ocha, nirakhava, ninda kumar. How can you give up that? So they think that they have to give up something which is the most important. So that is bhakti, you know. So once you give up that, how can there be devotion at all? There cannot be devotion for the consciousness that is devoid of all attributes. How can there be devotion? So there is no bhakti at all. So all of these are problems. So Shankaracharya is not a bhakta. Vedantis are not bhaktas. So that is what makes them interpret this statement in different ways to retain something that one does not want to give up. And so, pratyakshadena vachyarthe bheda pratitovapi. We admit there is a bheda, there is a duality at the level of upadhi, which is what we can perceive. Pratyaksha means perception. So what you can perceive through the sense organs of the mind is only upadhi. But at that level we accept that there is a difference. Lakshyate tad abhavat. But the true meaning, where does that you really land? That you does not land in body, not in mind, not in sense organs, not in intellect. Because they are incidental. That you should denote or mean that which is inherent, which is permanent. And that is asti, bhati, priyam. That is consciousness. Similarly, when you say that also, where does it land? Not in omniscience, because that is also incidental. He is a creator, sustainer, dissolver, incidental. So that also only lands in consciousness, which is nityam, which is the eternal, the permanent nature of that. So lakshyarthe tad abhavat. Lakshyartha of tvam is Shuddha Chaitanyam. Lakshyartha of tat is Shuddha Chaitanyam. So from the standpoint of Shuddha Chaitanya, there is no bheda, there is no duality. Lakshyarthe bheda pratitehe abhavat. So how should you look upon yourself first of all? Not as a jiva. You have to retain your jivatvam in order to look upon Ishvara as omniscient, omnipotent, But you see, you don't have to retain your jivatvam. You can let go, then you discover that you are consciousness. So, lakshyarthe tadabhava. When you perceive yourself as consciousness, you do not perceive any duality or difference between tvam and tat. Between anything for that matter. Then bhutarthevi pramanyasya. Even this statement or identity can be pramanam for something that already happened. Putraste jataha. Somebody say, hey, a son is born of you. Son is already born. We are told about it later on, naturally. These days there are telephones, but in the olden days, a messenger will come and tell you after a few days that putraste jata. Hey, you are a father of a son. So even though that statement talks about something which has happened, still it's a valid statement. Bhutarthevi pramanyasya. Sahari sarvam deva deva ityadisu darshanat. Sahari sarvam deva 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 deva. That Hari is everything. They are also pramanya, because again it's only by Bhāda Samanyikaranyam. Adityādi Vakyeshu cha. In short, just because there is Samanyikaranyam does not mean that it is Upasana Vakya. Putraste jataha. Putra jataha, that also is not a Upasana Vakya. Hari Sarvam is also not Upasana Vakya. So where again, somewhere Bhagatyaga Lakshana is there, somewhere Bhāda Samanyikaranyam is there, somewhere Mukhya Samanyikaranyam is there. आदित्यादि वाक्येषु च विधाने वाक्येषु उपपद श्रवणात् न उपासनानिष्ठं वाक्यम् आदित्यादि वाक्येषु च उपपद श्रवणात्. There is a pada or word, upa means earlier. So they will point out, Adityo Brahma iti upasita. So before upasita is iti. So upapada is a pada of the word that is placed before. So Aditya Brahma iti upasita. Therefore also that is upasana-nishtam vakyam, because that iti is there. In Tattvamasi there is no iti, therefore also upasana-nishthatvam is not there. So two things are there. One is, even though there is a Veda pratiti or perception of duality at the perceptual level, at the Vachyartha, there is no Veda pratiti, you do not see that Veda when you see the Lakshyartha. One. Second is that these two Vakyas are not similar same. Tattvamasi Vakya is one, Adityo Brahma iti upasita, not Adityo Brahma. The iti pada is there also, which is what makes that Vakya different from this Vakya. So this Tika gives two reasons. I will give only one reason, that iti. So iti na, therefore so Bhashyakara is na adityadi vakya vailakshanyat. So this tika is a na is one reason, because of the lack of contradiction at the level of Lakshyartha. Then Vailakshan, then these two Vakyas are not similar. In Aditya and Brahma there is the contradiction between the Vachyartha and Lakshyartha also. There is no Lakshyartha there. Here, even though, so between Aditya and Brahma there is contradiction. Similarly in Tat and Tvam also is contradiction at the level of perception, not Vachyartha, not Lakshyartha. Therefore, these two Vakyas are not similar. There is Vailakshanyam, the Vakyas are quite different from each other. And Vailakshanyanta, other Vailakshanyam, other different two Vakya is what? Bhashyakara Adityadi Vakya Vailakshanyat Tattvamasi Vakyasya, that you are Brahman is quite different from, may you meditate upon Aditya as Brahman. Why? So Bhashyakara said, so let us read that. Adityade Vakya Vailakshanyat Adityo Brahma Ityadau Iti Shabda Vyavadhanat Na Sakshat Brahmatvam Gamyate. So Adityo Brahma Ityadau, Adityo Brahma iti upasita, Manaha Brahma, Mano Brahma iti upasita. In that, iti Shabda Vyavadhanat. Between Brahma, so Brahma and upasita, there is a word iti. There is an intervention. So Aditya Brahma upasita, it doesn't say that. Adityo Brahma iti upasita. Mano Brahma, it isn't. Mano Brahma iti upasita. So between Brahma and upasita, there is a word iti. So iti Shabda Vyavadhanat, because these two words are separated by a word iti. Na Sakshat Brahmatvam Gamyate. That Vakya, because iti means that the Vakya does not mean that Aditya is Brahma in a primary sense, or Manaha is Brahma in a primary sense, because of the use of the word iti. So how? First look at Anandagiri. Page 298, Haloke Shuttikam Rajatam iti pratyeti ityadau iti shabdaparam samadhikaranyam navastunishtam drishtam. Shuktikam Rajatam iti pratyeti. He looks upon Shuktika as Rajata, as silver. Ityadu, iti shabda param, the samadhikaranyam is there. Shuktika and Rajata, both of them are in the same adhikaranam. But then there is a iti shabda param. It is, so it involves also the word iti. Iti shabda param samadhikaranyam. The samadhikaranyam is brought about by iti, not by itself. So Shuktikam Rajatam, no. Shuktikam Rajatam iti pratyedi. It is iti that brings about samadhikaranyam and not simply Shuktika and Rajata. So iti shabda param samadhikaranyam na vastu nishtam drishtam. Though the samadhikaranam is not between two vastu, the Shuktika and Rajatam, iti that brings about samadhikaranam in some way, not in a primary way. Tatha adhyasavakyanapi aditya brahma iti adesha ityadina. So aditya brahma iti upasita or aditya brahma iti adesha. If you look at page 124, in the 10th line, aditya brahma iti adesha, or aditya brahma iti upasita, that also is there. Or we read page 123 in the first line, mano brahmetyupasita. So mana is brahma iti upasita. In case of aditya brahma iti adesha. So in these vakyas, going back, ityadinam iti shabda samadhikaranyavashat. So those vakyas have samadhikaranyam because of the word iti, otherwise not. Iti that imparts samadhikaranyam to those vakyas. Mano brahma iti, otherwise mana and brahma cannot be in the same adhikaranam. But iti that imparts that samadhikaranyam, aditya brahma iti adesha. So iti shabda para samadhikaranyavasad. So samadhikaranyam is on account of the word iti. Avastunishtatvam gamyate is not primary samadhikaranyam, because it is therefore it is not primary samadhikaranyam that aditya is Brahman or mana is Brahman. No, that tattvamasi vakyasya, there is no iti here, tattvamasi is simple. Meaning the samadhikaranyam is not because of iti, because of the vastu. That tat is tvam, therefore. Tathana tattvamasi vakyasya avastunishtatvam. So that vakya is not based on avastu, based on vastu. Iti shabda paratva abhavena samadhikaranyasya, because of absence of iti, swarupa vyavasayitva nishayat. Therefore that vakya tattvamasi culminates into swarupa. What is the true nature of tat? What is the true nature of tvam? That is where the identity is. So because the word iti is not present there, therefore we would accept this samadhikaranyam as vastunishtam, based on tat and tvam. So even though then you find contradiction in the vachyartha, therefore you take the lakshyartha and arrive at this understanding that lakshyartha of tat is identical to lakshyartha of tvam, or vice versa. Swarupa parivasa, swarupa of tat, tvam is consciousness. Swarupa of, what is Swarupa? The true nature, essential nature, undeniable nature. Of Tvam is only consciousness, of Tat only consciousness. So Swarupa Devasayatva Nishayat, that this Samadhikaranyam with Tat and Tvam culminates into this Swarupa, or the true nature. And that's where the identity of Samadhikaranyam. So Samadhikaranyam is not between Vachyartha, it is between Lakshyartha, Ityartha. Now this other Tikakara gives a little longer explanation. Go to page 289. Line 32. Tatra Adityoddeshena Brahmatva Vidhane Aditya Brahma. See, Uddesha and Vidheya. the subject and predicate. Adityo Brahma iti upasita. What is subject? Which you know. And Brahma, something is to be told to you. So Aditya, you know what it is, subject. Brahma you do not know, that is being told to you. So that is the Vidya or predicate. So Aditya Uddeshena, keeping in mind Aditya, our sun which is already known. Brahmatva Vidhane. Vidhana is what? May you look upon Aditya as Brahma. If this is what they wanted to say, Aditya Brahma iti eva alam. Aditya Brahma. So, Aditya Yupaha, Adityam, Aditya Brahma iti alam. Iti padashravane to Aditya Brahma iti upasita. Meaning that there is no identity between Aditya and Brahma, or no samadhikaran between Aditya and Brahma. That's what the Tikagara says. Tasya visheshyatvat. So iti is vishesha, iti upasita. Iti because visheshan is that which is qualified. Brahma shabdasadat visheshanatvat, and Brahma is the attribute or qualification. So Brahma iti, that's how you take. It is vishesha, that which is qualified. Brahma is that which qualifies visheshan. So the visheshan and vishesha sambandha is not between Aditya and Brahma. The visheshan and vishesha sambandha between Aditya and Brahma iti. That's what the Tikagara says. Na Aditya samadhikaranyam tasya. So what Brahma does not enjoy samadhikaranyam with the word Aditya, it enjoys samadhikaranyam with the word iti. Brahma iti upasita. So where is samadhikaranyam? Not between Aditya and Brahma, but between Brahma and iti. Then comes samadhikaranyam later. So, na Aditya samadhikaranyam tasya Brahma shabdasya, kintu iti shabdasya. Aditya shabda samadhikaranyam. Okay, wait a minute. Therefore, Aditya and iti, Aditya and iti, they enjoy samadhikaranyam. Brahma and iti enjoy the visheshana visheshya bhava, and Aditya iti upasita, Aditya and iti, they enjoy the samadhi, they reveal the same thing. Not Aditya and Brahma. Tadarthasya vidhetvam pratiyate, and therefore, whatever is the meaning of iti is what? Vidhetvam. So you are told to look upon Aditya by the word iti. What is iti? It is qualified by Brahma. So, tadarthasya prakaraha. What is iti? Prakaraha. In this manner, tatasya Brahma prakaravan Aditya iti. So, Aditya Brahma iti means what? Now, Brahma is vishesham, iti is visheshya. So what? What is iti? Prakara. Brahma prakara. So Aditya Brahma iti Aditya Brahma prakaravan. Aditya is possessed of the Brahma prakara. Brahmatvam, like Brahman. Iti. What is Brahma prakarasya? Aditya nanya sambhavati. How can Aditya have Brahmaness in that other than Brahma Buddhi Vishayatvam? So look upon Aditya as Brahman, just have the attitude of Brahman upon Aditya. So the Tikagara says that Aditya Brahma iti adesha is there. Aditya and Brahma, they do not enjoy samadhikaranyam. Aditya and iti enjoy samadhikaranyam. So what is Brahma? Then Brahma is related to iti. Brahma iti, but iti is visheshya, Brahma is visheshana. So what is iti? Iti means prakara, Brahma prakara. Aditya Brahma prakaraha. Means what? Aditya Brahma prakaravan. Aditya is possessed of Brahmatvam, like Brahman. But there is no Brahmatvam in Aditya, therefore it amounts to saying that may you look upon Aditya as Brahma, meditate on Aditya as Brahma. So point is, This Tikakara says that Aditya Brahmedi Upasita is not a samadhikaran between Aditya and Brahma. In Tattvamasi, samadhikaran with Tat and Tvam. So these two Vakya Vailakshanyat. Vilakshanata of these two Vakya is what? Tattvamasi enjoys primary samadhikaranya between Tat and Tvam, whereas Aditya Brahma there, samadhikaranya between Aditya and Iti, not Aditya and Brahma. The two Vakyas are not similar. So what is applicable to Aditya Brahma iti Upasita does not apply to Tattvamasi because Vailakshanam, the two Vakyas are different from each other. So true, in Aditya Brahma iti Upasita is Adhyasa Vakya because the word iti. But here is not Adhyasa Vakya, it is Mukhya Samadhikarana because of the absence of the word iti. Therefore here the Samadhikarana is between Tat and Tvam. This is Samadhikarana between Aditya and iti. Therefore Vakyas are Vilakshana means of different nature. So Vailakshan Adityadi Vakya Vailakshanya is interpreted this way. So two Vilakshanata. In Adityadi Vakya there is a contradiction at the perceptual level and therefore it is Adhyasika Vakya. Here there appears to be contradiction with Tad and Tvam at the literal level, but there is not at the Lakshya. So therefore it is not superimposition, it is Mukhya Samadhikaranam. Secondly, Aditya Brahmedi Upasita, Samadhikaranam between Aditya and Iti, not Aditya and Brahma. Therefore also the two Vakyas are different from each other. Meaning therefore what applies to one doesn't apply to the other. You can't compare them and draw the conclusion of Tattvamasi based on the conclusion derived from Aditya Brahmeti Upasita. Adityam Brahma Udisham Sada Kuryat. So we all the time look upon Aditya as Brahma, have bhavana, have attitude. That's Upasana, meditation. Now Aditya Brahmatma Vidhiyate. This Vakya does not say Aditya is Brahma. We look upon Aditya as Brahma. Tasya iti shabdartha visheshanattvena, where Brahma is visheshana of the meaning of word iti, swataha anya anvaya anupattehe. Therefore, there cannot be other anvaya. So, anvaya is what? Brahma iti. There are Aditya and Brahma iti. So, Aditya iti. Or Aditya Brahma iti. So Aditya is like Brahman. Aditya is like Brahman, not Brahman. So that Vakya does not say Aditya is Brahman, Aditya is like Brahman because of word iti. Absence of word iti here, Tat is Tvam, not like Tvam. So therefore, Brahma being Visheshana iti, Brahma cannot anvaya with Aditya, Brahma is anvaya with iti. Swatah anya anvaya anupattehe. It cannot have two anvayas. Brahma is anvaya with iti and not with Aditya. Says Nacha Aditya Brahmanoho Samadhikaranyana Anvayanantaram. Why not two anvayas are there? Brahma iti, Aditya iti, and Aditya and Brahma. Aditya Brahmano Samadhikaranyana, because Aditya and Brahma are in Samadhi, therefore Anvayanantaram Aditya Brahma Aikyarupe Vakyarthe iti Shabdartha Anvayaha. So Aditya is Brahma, that's another Anvaya. Aikyarupe Vakyarthe iti Shabdartha Anvayaha. So meaning of iti applies to Aditya is identical to Brahma. Tatasya Aditya Brahmaikyam Upasita. The Aditya is Brahma. So may you look upon Aditya as Brahma. Here Aditya is like Brahma. His Aditya is Brahma. Why not that Vakyartha also? That's what we have been taking all the time. But this Tikakara, distinguishes this. And so Aditya is like Brahma, that's what the Vakya means, not Aditya is Brahma. The other Purupakshi is Aditya is Brahma, why not? So Aditya and Brahma enjoy Samadhikaranya, why can't you look at it that? And both of them then relate to iti. So Aditya is Brahma iti. Upasita means what? Meditate upon the identity of Aditya and Brahma. Aditya Brahmaikyam Upasita iti vakyartha. Why not that way? Tari Adityam Brahma Upasita, not Upasita iti etavata tadarthalave. Why do you add iti? Aditya Brahma Upasita. Iti shabda vyarthasya. So if you want primary identity with Aditya and Brahma, then iti does not serve any purpose. The fact that iti is there, therefore, this is not primary identification. There is only identification in some prakara. That Brahma also self-shining, Aditya also self-shining, in that way. So Aditya is like Brahman, so that way may you meditate. We stop there because then it goes on and on for a long time. So we skip the discussion from this point of this tika. So Bhashyakara said, Aditya Brahmayati ityadau iti shabda vyavadhanat na sakshat brahmatvam gamyate. Therefore, include Aditya and Brahma. Aditya is not Brahma in a primary sense because of the intervention of the word iti. Otherwise, so, however, because the word iti is not here, therefore, tat is, tvam is sakshat, tat and tvam enjoys sakshat tattvam. So, tvam is primarily identical with tat, not there because of the word iti. If you look at the line 25, मुख्य सामान्यकरण ने तात्पर्य ग्राहक प्रमाण अभावेन उपास्य उपास्य दर्शनाच्च तद अनुपत्ति भाव है. So मुख्य सामान्यकरण्यम between Aditya and Brahma, तात्पर्य ग्राहक प्रमाण अभावेन, there is no pramanam, meaning no other means of knowledge available to you, like which can reveal, which can show you the identity between Aditya and Brahma. And Upasita, it says, therefore, it is a statement of upasana of meditation. Tattvamasi tatra na kevalam iti shabda vyavadhana lakshana bhavaka bhava sadhakam cha. Okay. So that comes later, alright. No, before that, in fact, in the line 23, Tattvamasi yatra tu na iti shabda vyavadhana lakshanam badhakam asti. So badhaka bhava. Iti shabda is a badhaka in primary identity. That badhaka is not there. Therefore in Tattvamasi, because the absence of iti which would have denied the primary identification, tum artha uddeshena tadarthatvam vidhiyate iti mukhya aikyaparatvam iti. Therefore, tvam artha uddeshena, keeping tvam as a subject, tadarthatvam vidhiyate, it says that tad is tvam iti mukhya aikyaparatvam. Okay, we will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru